Okay, the first thing we're going to do is open the box. This is your warranty and your instructions, parts list, and so on. This is the DVD which you're watching. There's a ruler for measuring. We'll use that if you have a Flex-Matic 2. These are your side guides.
At the beginning of this video, you will notice that we are using a Flex-Matic to show the initial threading of the machine.
Now we'll remove the foam. Now before removing the machine, you need to remove the foam in the front. Now you can remove the machine out of the box by lifting up on the two bars in the middle. There's also a packet inside the box which contains your core inserts and Allen wrenches. This is a good time to inspect the machine and make sure it hasn't been damaged in shipping. If you do note any damage, please call our 1-800 number. Also, it's a good idea to save the Allen wrenches just in case you may need those in the future. You will also notice a piece of cardboard on the left hand side of the machine next to the table. You can remove that, as well as a piece of tape that holds the table lock in place for shipping. Now we will remove the roll holder rod from the back of the machine. First remove the 1-inch collar and then the spring. Now adjust the remaining collar on the rod so the labels will be more or less centered on the rod. The first thing we want to put on the rod is the guide. Slide the guide down the rod until it goes against the collar. Then install one of the core inserts on the rod so the flange faces the guide. Now install your roll of labels. Now the remaining core insert, push it down inside the roll. Now the remaining guide. Finally the spring and the 1-inch collar. You only want to apply enough pressure to the spring to keep the roll from backlashing as the machine pulls off labels. When installing the roll assembly onto the machine, make sure that the labels are facing down and the roll is unwinding from the bottom, as shown. The first thing you want to do when you install the roll assembly onto the machine is align the slots in the guides with the rod on the bottom of the machine. Then you want to align the roll holder rod with the slots on the side frame. The next thing you want to do is feed your labels into the dispensing part of the machine. Now, this is a very easy step, but it's something that is missed by a lot of our customers. There are two plates on this machine, one on the top and one underneath. It is very important that the backing paper is slid between these two plates. For demonstration purposes, we've turned the machine on its side so you can see where the paper is fed between the two plates. Please do not turn your machine on its side. If the backing paper is not slid between the two plates but underneath both plates, then the machine will not peel the label properly. It will shoot up into the air and most likely will not stick to your container you're trying to label and cause a lot of frustration.
Once you have threaded the label between the tables, you want to pull it out and then feed it between the chrome feed roller assembly and the rubber holder. The chrome feed roller assembly will pivot towards the front of the machine and up. Once you have fed the paper between the two rollers, pivot the feed roller assembly down into the back and push it towards the back firmly until it snaps into place. You'll then turn the machine on. After about 10 to 20 seconds, the circuit board will boot up, and then you can swipe your finger across the photo cell mounted in the plexiglass. This will advance the labels forward about 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch every time you swipe across. Once the labels get to the edge of the table, it will automatically dispense one label every time you swipe your finger in front of the photo cell. If the label only partially comes out, pass the switch and then stops, a microswitch adjustment is needed. Or if labels continuously feed out without stopping, a microswitch adjustment is needed as well.
Make sure you do not loosen the set screw on the bottom of the switch housing. The set screw is simply there to move the switch housing from side to side, not for switch housing adjustment. To adjust the switch, simply move the switch housing towards the rear of the machine until the switch lever just makes contact with the dispensing table. Make sure once the lever has made contact with the dispensing table, you do not continue to push the switch housing further back.
Now we should be able to turn the machine on, wait 10 seconds, swipe your hand in front of the photocell, and one label should feed out and then stop automatically. Now drop the table into its normal position, and you should be ready to adjust the guides to fit the object you're going to be labeling. Simply unscrew the thumb screws, slide the left guide over against the side of the object, holding it straight and centered with the label. Tighten the thumb screws on that side. Now slide the right guide over, give it a little bit of extra space so it can fall through the machine. Then push your object down until it hits the rubber roller, and it will label your object. Now it's time to learn how to set label position. To change the label position up and down on your object, you adjust it by using the BCD switch on the front of the motor housing. Because of mechanical limitations, you cannot put a label closer than 7/8 of an inch from the edge of your object. Because of this mechanical limitation, you have to adjust the BCD accordingly. So when the BCD is set at 0, 0, you will actually get a 7/8 of an inch space from the edge of your object to the start of the label. Any additional numbers added to the BCD will be added to the 7/8 of an inch mechanical limitation. For example, if you put a 1 in the left window, which is the inch portion, you will now have 1 7/8 inches from the start of your object to the start of the label. Very easy and quick to set up from one object to the next. Now watch as I demonstrate the Flex-Matic using slimline CD cases. I'm going to be labeling 26 slimline CD cases in 1 minute. This is my first attempt at it, and as you can see, I don't always get it fed properly, but once I get it fed correctly, I was still able to feed 26 in 1 minute.